everybody, welcome to another episode of our Spotlight series. Today we are very lucky to have Dan with us, who's a second year grad med student at Nottingham. Hi Dan.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for your time today. So if we just get straight stuck in and tell us about your journey to medicine.
Yeah, so I'm a graduate entry medical student. So I did an undergrad originally. So I went to York. I did biomedical science at York. And then I took a year out because I was like, I don't want to go straight from undergrad straight into GEM and spend 7 years in education in a row. That was not for me. So I took a year out and I worked in a neurological end-of-life care home for the year, which was interesting, I guess. I learned a lot there. And then, now I'm at Nottingham studying medicine, which is great.
Wow, okay. So quite kind of linked, in the sciences, in healthcare. Was the goal always medicine, or were you not sure along the way?
So originally I wanted to go into research, medical research. I started biomed. But then during my time at York, I went to a care home and worked there for a while. It was also a neurological care home, but it was more rehabilitation. And working there, I was like, well, it'd be great to do obviously in biomed you learn the stuff for research and you help people in the long run. But medicine's more like you can help people right now, and that was something I really liked. So that's why I was like, okay, let's not do research and then apply for medicine.
Yeah, perfect. Is incorporating any research along the way something you have an interest in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always obviously looking for things to expand, so we'll need to get that portfolio up. So I do like a bit of research as well. It is fun. I did like to be able to sit there with the headphones in and just crack on and go and work.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, I like a bit more social aspect of medicine as well, because it's nice to sit by yourself in a lab sometimes, but sometimes maybe not.
And so during your undergrad, when you got the job in the care home, what kind of drove you to take on that work?
So originally I was kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to do medicine, so let's see if I can do the sort of things that doctors do and help out in that aspect. Even though as a healthcare assistant, you don't particularly do exactly what doctors do, but you still get to see that environment. And the shifts were 13-hour shifts as well, so I thought that might be reflective of what I'm going to be like as a doctor. So let's get in and see if I can handle that. And there were days that were great, the days that weren't, but overall, we maybe want to do it. So
yeah, that must be really good preparation. Leading up to the course. Did you find you were able to bring in that experience, to your application when you were writing it?
Oh yeah, definitely. In my application, I read all about how, for example, you need to know the ethics of 4 pillars of medical ethics. I learned how I said how you can't learn that and how I built that up in my work experience and stuff like that. So definitely helped with the application. Now even on the course, it helps me with just patient histories. I feel like I've spoken to patients so many times that when I do it, it's a bit more just like a chat. Whereas in the beginning, we get told how to speak to patients. I think that sometimes makes people a bit more paranoid that they can't say the wrong thing. And I'm like, just talk to them, say hi. Why are you here today?
Yeah. Did you find as well, so working in something kind of neurology based, were there patients that were actually quite hard to communicate? Did you build up skills around that?
Yeah, there were definitely a wide range of patients in life that had different abilities and disabilities. And being able to adapt the communication there obviously helped as well. Just generally with talking to patients now as well, because there were patients that literally couldn't speak at all. There were patients that couldn't see. So you have to find some way of getting across important information, which is definitely tricky, but it's doable.
Yeah, perfect. And so if we think about your application, what were you looking for in a med school?
So originally, when my undergrad, I looked at all the universities. I want to go to the best one I can find. This is the nicest place. But with GEM, if I'm honest with you, I kind of just look for which medicals can take me. Because applying to undergrad, applying to postgrad, you only get 4, whereas in undergrad you get 5 options. So I was like, well, I did the GAMSAT. Which one of these universities can take that? And from that, the list was very short anyway. So I just applied to all of them, and I was like, I'll like them once I get there.
Yeah. I think there's pros and cons of all med schools, and there's going to be good things about all of them. Thinking right back, did you do standard A levels that before your first degree?
So my started A levels, I took PE, I think biology and chemistry, and I was like, okay, that'll be fun. And then I realized after my second year, if I wanted to go do biomedical science or something, I need another science. So I had to drop PE, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I dropped PE and I took up maths and physics as well. So I did like maths, physics, chemistry, biology, finished those to get into biomed. But yeah, it was a bummer not doing PE. I did that kind of to be like, oh, if I do PE, maybe I can do sport and chill. And I realized very quickly that there was no sport involved in PE.
Yeah, good basing for, anatomy, joints,
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, it'll be fun. I can learn. I might be able to play some sport as well on the side. But no, it's just coursework. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. So a kind of a solid science base from there, built on with biomed, and then through to medicine. So you found that of the grad courses, you were probably eligible for
most
all
of them,
of them. Most of them, and you said you did the GAMSAT. Perfect. Okay. And because there is a few that ask, mostly is GAMSAT for grad, isn't it? But there's a few for UCAT. Did you choose the GAMSAT because you felt like it was a strength, or were you weighing up which entrance exams to do?
Yeah, well, I looked at like the UK CAT, and then a lot of people that have done it told me that it's more of like an intuition kind of exam, like they test your personality and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to make it this far and then fail that kind of exam. So I thought the GAMSAT is more like you could learn it and pass it. So that's why I picked the GAMSAT, because I already know roughly science stuff. So section 3 was okay for me. I was like, I just need to work on my essays and we'll be okay. And yeah, we were fine. So that's why I picked it.
Perfect. And were you able to do a sitting that meant you went into the applications knowing your score?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I did mine I think it's in September. Yeah, I think it was the last sitting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I think
when you get the offers through or the rejection through, you know what you got.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't do that well.
Okay. So you don't. So when did you find out your score?
So I think I did it in September. I must have found out maybe December-ish.
Oh wow, that's quite a long time.
Yeah, I think it was a while, because I remember in December I got like the medical students that do the interviews quite early. I got them through being like, thank you for applying. However, you don't need to worry about us anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Because the UCAT, obviously you get the score on the day, and I think for the BMAT, you can sit it and you find out maybe a few weeks after you have to send off the application. But the GAMSAT lasts for a couple of years, doesn't the score?
Yeah, I think it's 2 years,
So there are options to do it earlier, just like living on the edge.
Yeah.
Not knowing
I think you sit in May and also in September. And a lot of people I speak to in my year, they did it in May and then resat to do it in September. But the scores they got on May were better than mine in September. So I was like, you should have just
okay.
Like, don't spend the money again. Just back yourself. Like if you think you did okay, go for it.
Yeah. And would they have been able to take their best score, or would their September
I
score?
think they do,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know a huge amount about the GAMSAT, to be honest. I saw it and I went for the UCAT and the BMAT, and avoided the GAMSAT, to be honest.
It's a long exam as well, so yeah, it's not something to choose lightly, that's for sure.
No. So from the GAMSAT universities, was there anything else when you were choosing? Do you get much choice between kind of, say, CBL, PBL? Were those things that you were aware of before applying?
So I looked mainly for myself for a PBL focused course, purely because when I was in my undergrad, I had a roommate who did law and they did PBL. Okay. And the idea of just having like a problem, having to solve it during the week, made me think that's more what doctors actually do. So I was like, this will help me, if anything. It might not suit to my strengths, but it will help me when I get to clinical phase. And I'm like, okay, a patient comes in with this is their labs, this is what we should do. Yeah, that's why I went for a PBL instead of maybe anatomy focused courses, for example.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was, probably naively, that it was a technique used outside of medicine.
I didn't know it was in medicine either. So when I applied, I was like, hang on, that's what he did. Okay.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah, nice. Okay. So you're at Nottingham now in year 2. How was the transition? So you took a year out before studying. How did you find then getting back into studying?
I think in the beginning it was a bit difficult to be like, okay, we need to sit down and actually do work, because when you're working, you can work for your shift and then just go home. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything. Whereas coming to study now, there's like no time limit, if you will. Like you wake up, you work when you will, you stop when you will. So yeah, in the beginning it was a bit more hard just to get that discipline back and be like, okay, we need to at least work 9 to 5. So yeah, that was difficult. But now it's okay. Like in terms of the knowledge stuff, I don't think that taking the year out actually affected that quite at all, because our first module was kind of like to get everyone up to speed anyway. So the knowledge was fine. It's just the work ethic that just needs a bit of work. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you been able to use a lot of your biomed kind of grounding in the course? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like module 1, I was fine. Yeah, that was like basically my entire 3-year degree was covered in our first module. And the rest, like, okay. Every now and then something will be covered. Like we just started neuroscience now, and all the diseases we covered in biomed. So I'm hoping when we get to it, I'll at least know what this disease is. So we should be fine.
Yeah, I think because I, do not remember a lot of the detail from my undergrad degree, but it's almost like a new language, or the terminology. And I think having at least heard it before and be familiar with it gives you a kind of a little bit of a start. Even if you remember.
Knowing a simple word helps. It sounds silly if we haven't done medicine, but trust me, knowing a word just helps. Like, okay, I know what a nephron is. Good, we can start.
It takes the kind of the I suppose panic of I don't know any of this. I don't know what it is away. And in terms of, I suppose, the lifestyle around the course, how is it compared from your first degree?
I think it's way more stressful now in the second year. First year was okay. It was a bit more like, again, you try to get into it. Only because so in our second year, we were told recently that it counts towards our decile ranking at the end of our course. Yeah. So everyone's kind of like, oh my goodness, it counts towards my job one day. So I need to really buckle down. Whereas in your undergrad, you can kind of, you can do whatever you want kind of thing in terms of working, because you can still get a job regardless of what, like you need to obviously get first or 2-1 or 2-2, whatever. But from there, you can apply to anywhere. Whereas with this new decile thing, everyone's like, oh, we need to work hard. So it's a bit more stressful like that. But there is also time to do hobbies and stuff. Much like an undergrad, but you just need to schedule it in a bit more now.
Yeah, get that organisation down.
Yeah.
And if we can just, for people that might not be familiar with the structure, so it's 4 years, about 1.5 years, you said, up until March, until...
they say about first 18 months is just all like lectures and stuff, and then you go into clinical phase for the rest. So they've just reintroduced, there used to be things called like clinical phases, so they used to be like clinical phase 1, 2 and 3, but they've just changed it now for us to be like, it's got some fancy word, but basically means like the first 1.5 years you're based somewhere, and the second 1.5 years you're based somewhere else. So just instead of having 3 sections of clinical phase, it's just the 2 now.
Okay. Yeah. And will you be based in the same region for the whole 1.5 years and then the other 1.5 years?
Yeah. So they have like their own hubs, if you will.
Nice. Okay. So you get to, I suppose, settle for quite a while.
Yeah.
Without moving around. And are they based in quite close to where the university is, or do you have to travel quite far?
Ish. So at Nottingham, I've heard rumours that there are some in like Lincoln, and I'm thinking, if they're in Lincoln, I should just go back to York again. I'll be closer.
Yeah.
So they are close, but sometimes hospitals give you accommodation as well, depending on how far they are from you. So, yes, they might be far, but you can stay there for a week and then come home if you want. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting to compare, because I think we move around twice in 3rd year, and I think 2 or 3 times in 4th year, and then a place in 5th year. So maybe potentially a little more movement, but can be quite far away, up to 1.5 hours away, which
if they want me to get there for 8 for surgery or something, I'll have to wake up really early. I'll get there. I'm still asleep, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm here in person, but not not quite in mind yet.
The joys of having masks now, you can just be there like,
no one will
know.
No one will know. Perfect. And how have you found the kind of the PBL side of things? Has it been challenging you in the way that you felt it would?
Yeah, definitely. Like our first case, like we just get like a blurb, if you will, be like, so and so came in with these symptoms, and then you all kind of have to brainstorm, which is nice when you have a rough idea of what it is. But sometimes you just sit there and we're like, they've just got chest pains. That could be a lot of things. Especially if it's in a module, like if we have like a module like the muscles, for example. If they come with chest pain, everyone's thinking a cardio problem. But then we're like, but we're in this module, so why would they give us a cardio problem? And then, But no, it's very good because you have the first one where you get the blurb, you go away and learn about different things, come back, present, do like a patient history and stuff. Which is really great being able to practice histories every single week. Even though we don't all get to practice, but it's good to just see other people do it as well. Which definitely helps with Askers, I think, because you get there and you're like, I've done this weekly. I've seen people do it weekly. I know roughly what I'm going to do. The last session, we just kind of diagnose them, give them a treatment, give them management. Which works pretty well. I think it's nice to just see like the follow through.
Yeah. And how, so does Nottingham allow non-science grads as well? Like what's the mix of people within your group?
So in our group, we have people that are like PTs, for example. We have like lawyers. We have people that do like art or music and stuff. Nice. So yeah, we have loads of people. I think it's almost, I don't want to say rare to say you get science people in a group, but it is generally quite rare to have a whole group that are just all science based. Like they're very, very varied, which is great because you get like ideas from people that you thought, actually, I've never even thought of that. It's a great idea.
Yeah. I like the idea that people get to bring their experience in and their different points of view.
Yeah.
Perfect. And do you feel like within those sessions you bring in that science knowledge, you get to I suppose teach as well as learn from each other?
Yeah, so we recently changed it from more like presenting to just games. So I try to make it a bit more fun. Like, so we did like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire the other day for like goals. So it's just trying to make it a bit more interactive than just sitting there for another lecture, because we get lectures anyway, so you might as well just make it a bit more entertaining, which is good fun. Like we had I think it's called Articulate. Is that the kind of game? Someone did that.
Yeah, okay.
They like text someone some like words, you have to describe them out, which is great because that teaches you have to know what it is for one, and then you have to tell it back to other people, hopefully there as well, which is a bit more engaging. I think it's a bit more fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. I've got medical Articulate. And like with the time limit, and you've got to we do Kahoots quite a lot.
Yeah, we do a Kahoot a lot. Yeah. On Teams now, so yeah, it's always good to Kahoot.
Yeah, that music coming in, it's instantly like raises your blood pressure and just gets you ready to go. So are you? Oh, sorry.
So I was going to say, although I really realised if you get the app, you can download the questions, so you have them if you have good questions.
Okay.
I never knew. I always used to message them, be like, "Oh, that's a good question. Do you mind sending it to me for my Anki?" And then now I know. Just get the app, and I got all.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. So you firmly on the Anki train?
Yeah, I do love Anki. I think it's just a bit more easy, really. You can just make your own questions, sit there, flashcards every day.
Yeah. I think if you're able to keep up with it, then
it's difficult. If you miss a day, then it's like, oh no, I've got like 200 cards to do today. Yeah, it is difficult, but it is manageable sometimes if you stick to it.
Yeah, perfect. And thinking about, you're saying this year is going to start to go towards your deciles. What are those examinations? Do you have periodic exams? How are they examining you?
So we have OSCEs every year. I don't know if undergrads have OSCEs every year as well, but we have OSCEs every year. And then we also have 2 knowledge papers as well that go towards that. And this year we have to do a portfolio on palliative care as well, coursework for that. And we have our like reflective personal development modules as well that we have to complete. Which is just reflecting every module, what went well, what didn't do well, which is good to practice. Sometimes difficult if you sit there and you're like, I have no idea. But no, it's good. So the OSCEs are more generally earlier than the written exams, which gives us a bit more time. And the written exams are just two lots of like 90 questions.
Okay. At the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll have started a few months of clinical time.
So our clinical time will start before we get our results from our exams. Which I always find a bit odd, but I just think it's because of the fast pace of the course that you just have to keep moving. So you could be on clinical phase for about a month before you get your results and realise you have to resit that exam, but or you could be on a month and be like, it's okay, let's just keep moving, we're good.
Yeah. Okay, so the exam is around the kind of February, March time, so the end
Yeah,
of your first year and a half block. So
yeah,
like out of sync of the, I suppose, traditional academic year.
yeah. So we have, I think our second year is only like 6 months long. So yeah,
Yeah, okay. Just
yeah.
yeah, quick
Just
little
why not?
6 months second year.
Yeah, why not? That makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Why do you need more time
Yeah,
to yeah, to go through that? And are your finals right at the end of your fourth year, or do you sit them earlier?
that's a great question. I
I
probably
don't
should.
know.
Yeah, yeah. I think we have to do them every year, like every year and a half as well.
Hmm.
So hopefully it won't be all at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
we'll get
fingers crossed.
yeah, get to that when you get there.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
plenty of time. So are you looking forward to starting the clinical placement?
Oh yeah, I think it'll be so much fun just to be able to go to the hospital every day. If not, it'll be a
Hmm.
motivation because you
Hmm.
can see what you've been working for every day. You can be like, oh, one day I'll be this doctor that did whatever, and it'll
Hmm.
be really good fun. Like now, because you're in lectures all the time, you sometimes lose sight of why you're here. But
Hmm.
going in every day, it must give you some motivation. Even if you don't do an amazing job that day, you're still there, living the dream that you'd had when you were younger, or whenever
Hmm.
you're eligible.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think so I just started my clinical time, and I think the first few days were a little overwhelming, but
Yeah.
then even towards the end of the first week, it just felt like such a privilege to be
Mm.
able to be in that environment, not have the pressures of being an actual doctor,
Yeah.
but getting to speak to people and learn from them,
Mm.
and just having the next, well, three for me, 2.5 for you, years
Yeah. Yeah.
ahead, like to be in that environment. It's
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. Like every day, or not every day, but days that I struggle in uni, I always remind myself I'd rather be stressed studying medicine than stressed
Mhm,
not doing it. So in clinical
mhm.
days, I'd rather have a bad day in the hospital
Yeah,
ward than not be here at all. So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, perfect. Especially I suppose when you've spent quite a while working
Yeah, yeah,
towards medicine, it's perhaps you take it for granted a bit less once you're there.
maybe.
Maybe I suppose everyone's perspective is different. So we talked a bit about the lifestyle and organisation and working hobbies in around it. What do you like to do
Yeah.
in your spare time?
So it's my spare time, I do a
Hmm.
lot of sports actually. I've
Okay.
tried to get a bit of horse sport this year. So
Hmm.
we have our rugby team for men's
Nice.
which is quite fun.
Hmm.
I also make YouTube videos occasionally if I actually make them.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, just basically at the gym trying to do anything that's not medicine for a bit,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
is great. You just go to the gym, put your headphones in, and be like, no talking. There's no medical zone. Like even when I go with people in my course, I'm like, as soon as we step foot in the gym, there's no
Yeah,
medical questions.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You're not thinking like I'm gonna flex my
yeah,
bicep, and here's my bicep
yeah,
flex.
yeah.
You're not testing out your anatomy while you
That would
go
be
to the
good,
gym.
but then just imagine I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, imagine I get the nerve wrong. I'll be sat the entire time, be like, oh my goodness, what nerve is this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not what you want.
Yeah.
Um, and so you're playing for the medical rugby team.
Yeah, so we recently started a team just for like non-contact, so we have a bit more mixed because our
Hmm.
cohort's obviously a mixed cohort, so we get
Hmm.
which is great. Just a bit more running. That's all. which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
which is just what I need really. Just get up and get moving. So yeah, we
Yeah,
have so many
bring.
rugby teams here. Though. Like we have the uni rugby team, we have the medsoc like contact men's rugby team, and
Hmm.
now we have this like non-contact team, which is just a bit of fun, bit of laugh,
Yeah, nice. So is it a mix between like tag and touch, or you just
Yeah,
made your own rugby game
yeah,
up?
we do a bit of tag. Yeah, we do tag and touch basically. It
Hmm.
depends on the skill level of the day, obviously, because we don't want to jump people straight in the deep end. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's mainly a bit of tag and touch, play for an hour and a bit, and then go to the pub afterwards for way more than you train
Yeah,
for. But
yeah, yeah. I think it's team sport is a great
Mhm.
way to get yourself moving, and you end up
Yeah.
running way more than you realize when you're
Oh
in a
yeah.
sport.
The next day I woke up and I was like, oh, I can feel it today. Maybe we should
Yeah,
be a bit easier next time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Half an hour touch,
Yeah, yeah, half an
two
hour.
hours in the pub.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
The balance isn't quite right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so what kind of motivated you to start your YouTube channel and make videos?
So when we started med school, it was in COVID, it was a lockdown time. So I was
Hmm.
sat there in lockdown like everyone else, and I was like, oh, I'm so bored. Let's
Hmm.
just make videos and all the stuff we learned getting into med school, and hopefully help other people get into med school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, every video I genuinely make is trying to inspire more people to get in. Be like, look, this is what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
I try to make a lot more videos when we're in like absolute COVID times last year, just to be
Mm-hmm.
like, if you're applying next year, this is what you might be like in med school. Don't think you'll be like pre-COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just made it to hopefully help some people get in. So I went through like personal statement stuff, the interview process and stuff. So yeah, hopefully it helps. If it does,
Yeah. No, fantastic. It's such a great way to use your time, and that you know what the process is like, and
yeah,
it's really daunting, I think, for anyone applying at any time, but especially when you're outside of the school system and you might not know anyone else that's applying at the same time as you, and working out which entrance exam, who takes what if you haven't got a science background. It's quite
There's always this myth that I thought when I applied, is that you can only get into medicine if you knew someone in medicine, or like your family, or your parents, or doctors or whatever. So when I started, I was kind of wanting to show people that you don't have to have a parent be a doctor, you don't have to have friends. This is the information you need, don't worry, you can be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people in those positions, have the advantages of perhaps being able to get work experience and that sort of thing. But especially as a grad, you've got opportunities to take on work, do care work as an HEA, get your own experiences. It does take that extra time, and leverage those.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, if you have parents, you can get work experience quite a bit easier. But if you just go into a care home and be like, hi, this is my CV, I don't have any clinical experience, but I'd love to get involved, they'll probably say yes. Most care homes need help as it is, so yeah, maybe applying online might take a bit longer, but I've always felt if you go in person, say hi, check the code regulations now though, but go in person and be like, hi, this is who I am, and they're pretty nice and let you even if it's for a day or two.
Yeah, a day or two, just being there to chat to the patients, do cups of tea,
exactly,
I think it's perhaps not the most glamorous side of medicine, and it also feels like it's not enough. It feels like you need to have seen a bypass or done something to in the hospital, in surgery or something to make your application stand out, whereas really what they want you to show is that you have an interest, you have humanity and empathy and that sort of thing. So that's a great tip, just thinking of care homes. And
even like if you work so I now part-time work at a cinema because why not? A bit of fun. And even then I'm thinking, if you did something like that, even if you worked in like retail or whatever, you can say, I speak to people of various ages, I communicate in different ways. That might not be a clinical thing, but you can apply it. The way you write it can say a doctor has to have great communication skills, blah blah blah. I worked in a cinema, I developed these skills, blah blah blah. Like, it does help to have clinical things, don't get me wrong, but if you can't, like, not everyone gets that, so you might as well write effectively what you did regardless of the experience.
All about leveraging that experience.
Exactly.
And understanding. I think it's understanding what you have learned from that experience, and that you understand that working in retail does give you those communication skills. You can't write off everything.
Exactly. You might as well. All they're going to say is, great, you can reflect well. That's exactly what they want. They want you to reflect. They don't want people to just list all the stuff they've done. Like, there's no point. Anyone can make a list.
It's a hard habit though to change up when you want to show off your things. You want to say, and I've done this and I've done this. And I think perhaps sometimes that's the culture that's ingrained in you a little bit.
Definitely.
But sitting back and saying, well, actually, what has been valuable about that? Get those team sports in there too.
Exactly. Just put, like, what you've done, a column of the skill that you developed, and then a bit of reflection, and then boom, write that into paragraphs. You should be okay. Perfect.
Well, head over to your channel for all these more of these top tips. So thinking a little bit to the future, obviously we've still got a while to go, but your kind of experiences in the care home, does that lean you towards any particular specialities or anything that you've covered so far that makes you think that could be the specialty for me? So
when I started med school, I thought, I want to be like a cardiothoracic surgeon, because why not? And Grays, the cardiothoracic
Yeah.
surgeons, amazing, they're bosses, why not?
Yeah.
And now coming here, we did like the musculoskeletal system and stuff. So I thought maybe trauma and orthopedic surgery will be for me.
Yeah.
I'm generally hovering around the surgery area versus the medicine area. So we'll see. I think like emergency medicine will be great. So yeah, trauma and orthopedic surgery will be great. Maybe cardiothoracic again, we'll see.
Yeah.
When I did the cardio module, I thought it would be a lot more exciting, but it was a lot more pharmacology based. So I was like, oh, I don't know what pharmacology is. So no,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I suppose you could bring in the sports side with that potentially. Relive your PE A-level days. All come in handy. Perfect. And I suppose we've already included some really top tips as for applicants, but thinking about, since you've started the course, is there anything you've kind of to reflect on that experience? Is there a top tip you can think of since starting that you would pass on to anybody?
Yeah, I think generally my biggest tip to anyone is just when you apply, it can feel quite daunting to think, oh, how can I stand out? Because especially in graduate, everyone has applied because they've done work experience, they've done whatever, they've got whatever grades. And I think the best thing to remember is the thing that makes you different is just you. It's your stories. It's like how you've reflected from it. Because yes, everyone's probably done the GAMSAT. Everyone's probably been to a care home. But it's what you can take away from that which makes you stand out. So don't be scared or intimidated by everyone else. You don't know what they did. And they don't know what you did. So just remember, you're you. That's what makes you stand out. Just show them your personality and you should be fine.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to really regularly check back on, because I found that you're kind of reduced to numbers, your GAMSAT number, your UCAT number, your this much, ranked in the interviews or whatever, and it really depersonalizes the process, because there's so many applicants. You are just one of a lot. So just having that, I suppose, confidence in yourself that
yeah, exactly. You're here for a reason. When you get here, imposter syndrome is real before people think it's not. I thought it wouldn't be. I thought I'd get here and I'm like, no, I deserve to be here. But there are days that I'm like, oh my goodness, did they let the wrong Daniel in? And you need to realize, actually, no, you did well. You're who you are. And I think my biggest tip for when you're actually in medicine is we find, like, even with the decile stuff now, the system is almost built to make you competitive. But just because you're competing doesn't mean you can't have group work, to work together, because you're competing against everyone in the country. So you might as well be like, oh, I go to Nottingham. Let's get a Nottingham group and we'll beat everyone else. There's no need to compete against each other in Nottingham. So yeah, I think just remember, even though the decile stuff makes you competitive, there's no need to work by yourself, because you can't do medicine by yourself. It's too difficult. You need a group of people to study with you.
Yeah, I think especially picking up on what you said about people in your group, the different experiences, and them bringing up different suggestions, that's so valuable, because if you lock into only your way of seeing things, you miss out on learning from other people a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, build your network, have confidence, and leverage your experience. That's perfect. So I will link all your details below, but people can find you on Instagram and over on your YouTube channel for kind of showing your experience as a med student now, and all those top tips for applicants. So thank you so much for your time today.
No, thank you. It's been so fun. Thanks.
Yeah, and have fun when you get to clinical time.
I will do. Thank you very much.